Hi guys, hello and welcome to another episode of Heart to Art with Institute, a lifestyle podcast where I just share inspiring stories on my journey to awesome living. And this episode is part of the conversation series targeted at young adults, where I invite young adults to discuss issues, lifestyle issues young adults face, from adulting to finance to health and several other things. So I'm happy to have you on the podcast channel today. I hope you have a great time listening to our facilitator. Today, right, I'm just going to let her introduce herself. She's a finance enthusiast. So we're talking about money, guys. It's going to be an interesting episode this time around. Make sure you listen to the end. So we'll get right into it as she introduces herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Dorcas Akinade. I'm a financial literacy enthusiast. I like to educate people on making the most or the best finance choices. And I do hear my blog, MoneyBugle, on Instagram, Facebook, and other platforms. I'm from I'm from Oyo State. Okay, so this reminds me, I'm from Oyo State.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm from.
Interesting. So there's a from, and then there's a from.
Oh, there is a from. Exactly.
Wow. I would say you should explain the from because what's from and what's from, so that our listeners can understand.
Should I go into that now?
Okay. Briefly, if it's very short.
Okay, so there's this guy on YouTube, I think VCT. So he was trying to tell us about trying to tell his audience rather, because I just watched it briefly. So he was trying to tell his audience that in Canada there's like a multi-diversity, multi-ethnic like relationship.
Okay.
And it was like a lot of people like congregate in Canada, and then when you meet somebody, you're like, okay, hi, what's your name? And like, where are you from? And the person will be like, oh, from, or you mean from? Like, my parents. Yeah, but hi, I'm from Canada. So there's from.
So you're from Oyo State, but you're from Lagos. Is that correct?
Very correct.
Awesome. So Dorcas here today. She is the founder of MoneyBugle, a financial literacy platform. She's a finance literacy enthusiast, as she said, and I'm excited because I feel like one of the issues we actually have to deal with as young adults is the issue of finance, managing our money, in the best way, and just so that we don't run into debt and dealing with all the issues we face with our finance. So I'm just going to get into this conversation. So today I have some questions for Dorcas. If you have some, she'll be asking me too, and then we'll just sort of just run through the conversation. So welcome everyone again, and I hope you have a great time. So Dorcas, I want to ask first that when did you start getting intentional about your finance? Was there a particular point where or was it that you've always learned to be intentional? Was it a particular point? When did you start getting intentional about your finance?
Well, about that, you know what they say about how processes that we've been informed our mindsets and all that, like the things we see around us.
Okay.
So I actually do not know what like really made finance stick on my mind, but I remember that growing up, I'm that child that has this piggy bank already, like the original piggy bank, and I would keep like every money inside it. One of the earliest stories my mom gave me was when my grandma, she had like an award in her church, something like that.
Okay.
She became, and then we had to go and celebrate with her. My mom said as my grandma was dancing and people were spraying her money, I went to meet her and I'm like, keep your money, put it in your purse.
Wow.
And I'm like, there's actually a picture of where I was trying to help her to giving her advice that keep your money in your purse. And I was about maybe 7 years old.
Wow.
So my mom always like referred to that picture. She's like, oh, see you telling your grandma.
It's been in the blood. Wow, that's interesting. So would you say that ever since then you've naturally been a saver in terms of money?
Yeah, actually, because even growing up all through secondary school as well, I'm that person. I would starve so that I can save.
Really?
I don't mind like starving because
wow.
I always like to have money in my hand.
Wow.
I feel very comfortable when
that's quite interesting, right? Because growing up, right, I knew we've always advised save, but for me it was so if I saved, even if I tried to save, I was going to spend on something soon. Like I wasn't really practicing the savings culture. So it's interesting to hear from your perspective and that you've just learned to be a saver. I'm wondering, and I would also put it to you, so what do you think about the Africans, young adults growing up? Do you think it's a natural thing for many to save, seeing that even me and you now, we have like two diverse backgrounds in terms of saving? Would you say it's a general thing for young adults that you've seen or heard in Africa, especially Nigeria, Africa, to save?
Okay, sorry. Before I go into that question, there's this story I want to say to reemphasize. I just remembered now. So in secondary school again, I used to go with some group of boys. They live in my area. Most times I'm like the only girl amongst them.
Okay.
But usually on Fridays, sometimes they can just decide that they are not going home yet. They want to play football.
Okay.
So most times I'll just have to leave there and then I'll go. So one of those Fridays, when they decided to play ball, a senior bullied them and like kind of asked them to bring all their money in school.
Wow.
The next week, when one of those guys saw me, he was like, thank God you didn't wait that Friday. They could have collected all your savings. You that used to bring all your savings to school.
Oh, you usually carried it to school?
Yeah, because, well, it's my pocket money. So by default, I keep them in my bag.
Wow. So they even knew that you usually keep your money. Wow.
Yeah. So like I had that culture. Like people even know. Like my friends know that. So
that's so interesting, because me, I just remember using your money to buy sweets and none of those things. I don't remember. I remember them saying, "Oh, keep your money." So, but then also, I think another thing I remember is when you have like maybe a tangible that you were given or something, we'll just give it to our mom, and then you know how we go to African moms and your siblings.
I shouldn't be casting my parents on this show, but like between you and me, all those my savings, like it was a culture that sometimes my dad, we said my mommy to come and convince me to give them my money. So daddy, I remember you're owing me all my money.
You also got to pay them all your school fees, because that's what they will tell you. Do you know the money? But yeah, I think if we get into that conversation, we'll get into a conversation around African parents and same. I mean, people probably talk about that. But first, let's even talk about the young Africans and our savings culture. Do you think we have a savings culture?
Well, in Africa, I think it's survival. Like if you look at it like on a long-term perspective, right? You have yourself to fend for yourself. Actually, if you compare, like maybe the Western world, where they have credit facilities and all the likes, I think we're doing much better with our finances.
Oh, really?
In my opinion, yeah, because you have yourself. If you squander all your money, sometimes we overindulge, we spend, we could do more.
Oh, so you feel like we have a better saving culture this side of the world?
when I compare maybe like our life.
Wow. That's interesting to hear though. I was going to assume that we probably have like a mind where we should stay, but we don't really practice. But it's interesting to hear from your perspective. So listeners, if you can record a message to tell us what you think, or just drop a message on social media at the Institute Place, you let us know what your thoughts are around saving cultures for Africans. So yeah, thanks for that answer. So you would say that young Africans have but what will you say is probably a major finance issue, or some issues that you think we face the most as young adults?
Okay, so as young adults, what I think again, another reason why we start MoneyBugle is because recently we discovered that there's like a shift in mindset. People who are like,
hello, Dorcas. Hello, can you hear me?
To take ownership of their financial life.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that one of the reasons why we started MoneyBugle was because we discovered that people are more intentional about their finance life, but intentional, like they still like fall victim of some unprofitable ventures, like they lose their money or they don't get enough returns on whatever they save. So yeah, I think one of the things facing us as young adults most especially is, even when you're ready, that okay, I'm ready to do this, we don't have the right knowledge, or we're not equipped enough with adequate resources or enough information of the best option or how best to go about it.
Interesting. Thanks for that. I think I would agree. So we have like good intentions. For instance, me, I always had good intentions. I want to save, I want to do this, but until the point where I really got financial literacy, and I think which is what you're talking about, which is why you've started the MoneyBugle. Once one needs to have financial literacy in order to be able to actually start practicing and the right saving culture or investment culture. All right, thanks for that. So far, do you have any questions for me?
Oh,
no, we've not. Sure. No, we still have questions, but I just want to know if you have any questions for me before we move on to other questions. Oh, awesome. Awesome.
I'm still
awesome. Cool. Sure. So speaking about financial literacy, right? From what you've said and from what I've also said, I feel like at the point when one begins to get intentional about financial literacy, that's when one can actually become financially empowered. So, in simple words first, like before we begin to say big English, and people are like, okay, financial literacy. What exactly is financial literacy? And how can a young adult who wants to grow their wealth, how can they get financially literate and empowered?
Okay, financial literacy is quite simple. It's derived from an English word, financial, and literacy. Okay, so it's basically being educated on your financial life. That's what it means. So education is broad in a lot of things, but like being informed about the right financial problems, about financial management, basically. So that's it. So after young adults be informed about their financial life, follow MoneyBugle.
Can you just spell it so that people can get the right spelling of MoneyBugle?
Okay, MoneyBugle is spelled M for monkey, O for orange, N Nigeria, E Y B
all right
U G
Awesome. So MoneyBugle is spelled MoneyBugle. So follow MoneyBugle on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to learn financial literate, to learn about ways you can get financial literate. Yeah, thank you for that. So getting into savings, right? So I am a young adult living in Lagos. I work a job, but so I'm giving you a scenario, right? I work a job, I earn a salary, but in between transportation, feeding, and I live with a family / a friend. So I have to actually cover for some of my needs, right? So in between feeding and transportation and every other thing, including the fact that I have to send money to my siblings, by the end of the month, I'm usually wondering how all my salary went. What are ways in which I can actually improve my saving culture? Let's have a savings, because I don't even think I can be an investor at this time or have an investment. So I'm just here. I have a career, but at the end of the month, I'm usually wondering how all my money went, right? What are ways that I can actually start creating a savings culture that is sustainable and efficient?
Well, number one, it starts with your mindset. So you have to be intentional. Okay, yeah, I need to save. And usually that kind of thing, you can only be intentional when you're driven by something. So definitely, let's say you're getting married and you need to save for it. You're like, okay, I'm getting married, I need to save. Like, you should first, especially people that are finding it very hard to save. I think the easiest is to create like a goal for yourself, a saving goal. Okay, this is why I'm saving. This is why it's important to save. After you've done that, then the next tool and the most effective tool again is budgeting. So budgeting is just you creating like a list of all your expenses and your income. So while creating that list, it helps you to eliminate the ones that are not essential and prioritize the ones that are important. If there are some other things that you can delay, then you can also do that as well when you're preparing your budget. So now, but a budget is not effective until you stick to it and you plan it in a way that your expenses doesn't overshadow or become greater than your income. So it is in the course of preparing that budget that you slot in the amount, the percentage for your savings, and then you stick to it. So the most effective tool is to budget.
Wow, thank you for that. I've heard a lot from what you've said. So you said that first and foremost, if I want to start and cultivating a savings culture, I need to first have the right mindset. I need to have a goal, whether it's because I want to get married, whether it's because I want to build and accrue wealth, whether it's any reason I need to have a reason. Then I need to learn to budget. So budgeting then, from what you said, will be I need to list everything I spend on, right? Okay. Another thing you said is we should also ensure that our expenses are not more than our income. But in this Lagos, sometimes it's almost as if our expense is always more than our income. But I guess you have to just learn to prioritize to ensure that So is there any tool or platform that can help one, to cultivate a better savings culture?
Okay, in terms of you wanting to save.
So let's say that I've learned to budget my money, and I know that I can now save this extra 10,000 naira, can spend it. Should I just leave it in my normal account? But the problem with that is I usually tend to go and write. So is there a platform or some platforms or tools that I can use, right, to help me stick to my savings?
Definitely, there are so many tools you can use. But the most important thing is not even about using those tools. It's about putting your money in places that you're sure that they're safe, actually. Sometimes, as bad as saving in a traditional bank is, because you don't get interest sometimes. As bad as that is, sometimes it's safer than putting it in some places. So number one thing is, it's not about, oh, okay, I'm so eager, I want to start saving money, and then you just put it in everywhere.
Okay.
It's not about that. The most important thing is you have to do your personal research, or you contact a financial advisor on where are the best places to put it. Yeah, they have a couple of fintech companies that are already doing great things, and especially in terms of savings. They help you to automate your savings. Yeah, they didn't pay me to advertise for them, but there are a couple of places you can put it. But you have to conduct your due diligence and investigation. Yes, before you just start putting your money, because of course there are a couple of places that people have put their money and they can't get it back. And they were just driven by good intentions that, I want to save, I want to do this. So it's not about just putting your money first. It's about you conducting research and be sure that this is a viable.
So you're saying that there are places where I can actually automate my savings, but I have to do my research. So if I'm doing my research, I just need you to help me. What are the things I should look out for, right, to know that this will be a viable place for my savings?
Okay, yeah. There are a couple of things. Number one thing is, most finance houses usually have an insurance backup. So you can watch out if an insurance backup. Another thing I advise is you can check out the founders. I read a story sometimes about one of.
Okay. Hello, Dorcas. Okay, I can hear you now.
The guy got investors.
Hello, Dorcas.
Investors' money and you. So an MSc abroad.
Okay, I can hear you, but it was breaking at this point. So if you don't mind, you're telling a story. So if you don't mind taking that story again.
Okay, so there were some founders of a company sometime after collecting investors' money. They decided to split themselves apart.
Interesting. So make sure you check the founders, right?
Check who the people are. Most times I usually go for people that are more known in the industry, or maybe faces I'm familiar with. There's a particular platform I use that it's one of my old senior in school that started it. I'm confident because I've had him speak. I've met him, and I'm like, this guy is good. Okay. Another thing again is you can check out what's the venture, what do they use your money for. So imagine you are sitting on your platform. Do they invest the money? Do they have other businesses where they pump the money into? Imagine if you are saving on a platform and they also have a lending business. You know that they are giving my saving to borrowers. Of course, borrowers, when they pay back, they can refund my money. Okay, you're shopper. But imagine you don't know if it's an agriculture, agri-tech venture now. If I save my money, if I invest money here, if I put my money, they're going to use it for farming and the likes. Of course, when they get to you, they pay me back. But somebody just come out of nowhere and save your money.
That's quite detailed. Thank you for that. So you've spoken that we should actually do our research. So before you push your money in, I hope you heard it. Make sure you have your research done so that we won't be telling stories that touch the art. Okay, thank you so much, Dorcas. I think the next I would like to ask is black tax. So we black. one of the things you have to deal with is black tax, right? Black tax meaning funds that we have to give to like family or nieces or things that like your aunt or your uncle or your dad or your parent, if you're responsible for them. If you're black, you may relate, right? You may have to, when you earn your salary or you make income from your business, funds, your aunt, one sister may ask you, I need money for this, or an aunt or your parents. How should we better manage black tax?
Okay, so at MoneyBugle we made a post related to that very recently. You can also check out managing black tax. So yeah, a couple of ways you can deal with it, and one of them is learn to prioritize. Like there will always be requests. That's like our Calvary as Africans. People say that once your parents have educated you, trained you up to a certain level. Sometimes even irresponsible parents who feel entitled anyways. So like, okay, if they've done this up to a certain level, then you hold it to your community. It's not even just your family. You hold it to your community financially.
Yeah.
To be a financial sponsor or something like that. So yeah, a way is prioritize. Okay. Of all the requests I'm getting.
But saying no can be difficult. Sometimes they'll just be like this person is just, actually those ones are not like your direct family. Right? They're the ones that feel really entitled and are like, but you're working, so why can't you? True.
Yeah, those kind of people, if you don't have a job, they just have to take it like that. If it's so easy to get, like, why they're asking you these questions? So yeah, learn to say no. There are a couple of ways you can use to avoid such people. But you will need to come to my master class for me to tell you this way. So yeah. But another thing again is most times never disclose your full salary, especially to those kind of people that feel so entitled, because in their head they are calculating how much you're earning. They are calculating, okay, if you use this to do this, then you still have this amount, and then they'll be the one to tell you, but you will earn this amount.
Listening.
Why can't you help me? Yeah, exactly. Another thing again is another thing again is for black tax again. Sorry, I lost my thoughts. It's something was coming to my mind. Somebody put out a post on social media. In my mind, I think that the person has been like frustrated by demands. So she just came out and she was like, don't always assume, even like the most comfortable people have cash on them, especially since the pandemic started. The person was like, not everybody has cash. Because you think I'm comfortable doesn't mean I have money at the moment. Sometimes all my money is tied in assets, and I don't even have cash. I'm also trying to barely survive, like you are trying to survive. So yeah, that comes to mind too, especially for people that feel entitled and maybe you just have to come and give them some word, and then they have to pack one.
Okay, all right.
So like, if you want more story on the black
thank
tax,
you so much, Dorcas. So I think, speaking about the pandemic, what's money lessons, right? Can we take away from that, right? Because pandemic actually showed us that sometimes cash is king. So what lessons can we take away that we can also learn to like apply? Do you want to share any? Interesting. So guys, you need to follow MoneyBugle to catch up on all your financial
we also have a post of
education.
So one thing which we do at MoneyBugle is we try to relate with our audience. We know like things you're going through at specific times, so we try to bring you up to date on financial literacy or financial education. We give you financial education on things you can do at specific moments that will meet your specific needs. So yes, that's what we do at MoneyBugle. So yeah, of course, like I said, we have a post on that, but I'm just going to touch a few aspects. One of the most important thing we emphasize is the place of emergency fund. Like we always preach emergency fund on MoneyBugle as well. We also have a post that you can check it out. We even have like a podcast on that. There's a link in our Instagram page where you can listen to our detailed explanation of emergency fund and article about it. So yeah, there's a place of emergency. Usually you should have like 3 to 6 months of what your basic needs or your basic expense, enough money that can cover your basic expense, like your feeding most especially. And if you agree, like pandemic has been going for like about 3 months before things are beginning to open up. So yeah, you have like an emergency fund of like 3 months, you are like kind of safe. So yeah, another thing is, as much as you like to invest, this pandemic has also shown us that cash is important. Imagine, like there's no business anywhere. People are hardly investing in anything. Everybody just trying to survive. So if you have like enough cash, which can be like your emergency fund, like money that is very easily you can easily access. So yeah, there's that. There are also lessons for business, especially at this pandemic period. There's a place of insurance. This pandemic has shown us that beyond the regular things we put into consideration when we are building our business models, there's another thing that we always fail to leave out, and which is very important and can even affect the future of our business. So imagine this pandemic that came up. Actually, it was really surprising to know that there are businesses that
cashing out
actually have insurance for pandemic, and at this period they were just like cashing out. So there are different lessons. I would advise you to check MoneyBugle.
So insurance is also something we should start looking at, apart from even savings, right? As young adults, right? But insurance is it for the long term, or how does insurance work? Is it for long term, short term?
Exactly. So for insurance, like there's uncertainty about it.
Okay.
So most times there are different types. There are some that you can renew annually.
Okay.
Right? So you can renew them annually. So and then you pay premium. Most people don't like insurance because they think that
they lose all their money
if what they anticipate
wow
happen,
that doesn't sound interesting.
Lose all money. But imagine they lose all the money. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
exactly. Although some insurance company are trying to like build a way around that. I remember there's a particular insurance I did at some point. They told me to do like a life insurance. They like a life insurance premium, but at the same time, it's an insurance but also a saving. So you're like so if nothing happens to you, you get your money back, and a very very tiny percentage.
So after a duration,
that's the way they motivated me to do the insurance at the time. So yeah, but basically, insurance doesn't really care if you lose the money or more. That's because in the end, what they do is it's a pool of all the uncertain people's funds that they used to.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing so far. Any questions yet? Hello, Dorcas. Hello, Dorcas. Okay, I can hear you now. Please, can you take it again? I didn't get it before. Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, so I was saying
Thank
that you're
you.
doing a great job. Keep it up. Yeah.
Okay. Hello? Okay. All right. Thank you. So to
Yeah,
just
Michi.
wrap up, I would just say I have one more questions, but do you have anything you want to say generally about finance before I ask like my last question? Or money
Right now it's
matters for young
finance.
adults,
So
just
we're like
tips or anything you just want to share.
okay, maybe I can
I
just
didn't get
use
that.
this for commercial. I said maybe I can just use this slot for commercials. So yeah, finance basically it's an important part of our life as well. And I know a lot of people are trying to be intentional about it. But just like every aspect of your life, like to really gain like control on it, you have to get educated. You have to just stay on top of your game, be aware of things going on around you, be aware of news and all that. And a good way to get that is by subscribing to our channel at MoneyBugle and follow us on Instagram, MoneyBugle, and Facebook and Twitter. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I think
That's
my last question would be on debt, managing debt. So some people, in order to just try to ensure they get their finance together, they go into debt. So what would you say about debt? Is that a good thing? Should we look to taking loans to fund some of our things? For instance, if I want to get married, should I go and take a loan? If I want to buy a car, like should we? What is the way we should look at debt? How should we manage debt?
Okay, I really do not encourage debt. When you have to borrow, it means you don't have savings, right? So then the entire objective is defeated. But there are times that you might have to borrow, really, like speaking realistically. But what I advise is your returns greater than the amount you're paying.
Okay, so if I'm borrowing, just to understand,
are you going to get? Are you going to get a greater benefit than your cost? If your benefit is greater than your cost, yeah, that's okay.
So that's a cost. So if I'm looking to borrow money, I should ensure that the benefit of borrowing that money is more than the cost of the incurring cost for that loan or debt.
Yeah, and one more thing before people start saying Dorcas has validated borrowing. I didn't validate borrowing, right? But I don't even like it. I think it gives you a lot of pressure. It can. We talked about something about how your finance life can impact your health on MoneyBugle. You can also check that out. I think it gives you puts you under a lot of pressure, and then you begin to have like issues. So like, what's the purpose in the long run? So I don't validate borrowing. I do not, especially when it's for non-essential things or things you can do without. So like things like maybe buying a car, you can delay it. You can save up to buy it. Like if you have to borrow to buy a car, it means you can't afford it. Because how will you maintain the money? We used to maintain the car. We used to continue borrowing to maintain it. So yeah, So I'm not validating borrowing. In fact, I do not like it. But if you have to borrow,
just to bring another perspective, though, I think some people would borrow. I think it also comes down to what you said: the benefits being more than the cost incurred. In terms of if I want to run the business and I feel that I could borrow some money, and because I'm sure that the returns I'll get on that business is more than the amount incurred on that loan, that would then be if a reason to take such, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when the benefits
All right.
outweigh the costs.
Thank you so much, Dorcas. It's been an interesting conversation. Thanks for sharing with us on finance, managing our money as young adults, especially in Africa. For those listening outside of Africa, you can just record your message and tell us how it's been over there. We hope that with what you've learned, you're able to practice better money management. So ensure that you get financially educated. Financial literacy is very, very key. It's the key to actually being financially free, right? So read books, follow financial literacy platforms like MoneyBugle and several others, so that you can also check out. Just use Google to check for opportunities to better yourselves. So cheers to living your best life, and thanks for listening. Thank you again, Dorcas. It was awesome having you here on the platform. All right. Bye.
Thank you too.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope you've learned something new. Conversation series continues. If you have anything you'd like us to touch on, just record a message and share with me or on social media at the Institute Place or at Institute_. The Institute Place or Institute_ on Instagram or on Twitter. Let's learn together and share together. Cheers to living your best life. Bye.